For weeks, Misrata in Libya has been a war zone, a battle between the forces of Colonel Gaddafi and the people of that city that's happening largely out of sight of the rest of the world. Tonight, ITV News can reveal how the killing of civilians, including children, is still going on, despite the promised protection from NATO. Ours is the first team of British TV journalists to witness what is happening there. Fighting started in Misrata, Libya's third largest city, 54 days ago. Since then, the battle between pro- and anti-Gaddafi forces have divided it. The opposition control the north and east, Gaddafi's forces the west. Our report shows a city under siege, where one human rights group puts the number of dead at 300. It shows street-by-street fighting, which NATO forces are unable to prevent, and it culminates in the death of a young boy playing innocently in a garden. Our international correspondent John Irvine and cameraman Sean Swan reached the city the only way possible, from the sea. Here, then, is their exclusive and, at times, distressing report.
As we neared the Libyan coast, we were relieved to have got the attention of 2 NATO warships, for while we were also on a trawler, we weren't here to catch fish. Instead, we were on a lonely run into the almost deserted port of Misrata, a city under siege and accessible only from the sea. As food and water supplies were received by welcoming arms, several volunteer doctors quietly slipped ashore, caring people for whom there's too much demand here. The centre of Misrata has become a virtual no man's land, across which the two sides kill and be killed. These are shattered streets, scarred by weeks of battle. It's important to remember that while this place is being attacked by an army, it's not being defended by one. Instead, the resistance here comprises ordinary people who've forgotten the day job and picked up weapons to fight for their freedom. He's keeping an eye out for Gaddafi snipers who've infiltrated this part of Misrata. The rebels have learned fast. They use this dummy to get the snipers to give away their positions. The bullet holes in the foam head point to an accurate enemy. This street is the outer limit of rebel-held Misrata. About 500 yards down this side street are pro-Gaddafi forces. The two sides have been in these positions for about a month now, so the defenders of the city are holding their own. The rebels wanted to show us one of the high buildings under their control. This place has been held at a cost. The fighters insisted we crawl under the windows as they took us to their positions. This man owns a clothes shop. He says he's also a good shot. This young man normally studies engineering at university, but right now he's learning to fire a prized RPG. 2 months?
And over here, please.
What age are you?
22 years old.
You're 22?
Yeah.
And you're used to this now?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
You're used to this also.
Why are you fighting here?
Because we are fighting for our own rights. We are fighting for freedom. We cannot let them take everything here. They destroyed everything. They destroyed houses, they raped women, they cut the children, they do everything. So we cannot let them do this.
Mohammed is a doctor of physics who left his Manchester home to attend the funeral of his brother, the first victim of the fighting in Misrata. He took up arms himself, but got shot last Wednesday. And still you stay here?
Yes.
Why do you stay?
This is the price of my country freedom. I've been in the UK for more than 10 years, and I feel the freedom. I feel democracy. I need my people to feel it as well.
The men were preparing for another assault by Gaddafi forces. They're fighting with their backs to the sea against a better equipped enemy. But these rebels do have their wits about them. The defenders of Misrata have had to be resourceful just to survive. To prevent Gaddafi's tanks getting to the town centre along this main road, the men here filled these lorries with sand, put them in first gear and allowed them to chug across the road. Not even a tank shell could shift this one. Nearby, this burning tank recovery vehicle bore testament to the resolve and bravery of the rebel fighters. But as we saw at one of the few hospitals still functioning here, Misrata is paying a heavy price for its defiance. The city is a thorn in the colonel's side, an embarrassment not far from his capital and his hometown. He's trying to bleed it into submission, but the people here know that despite the toll, surrender would mean slaughter for all of them. And so they all do what they can. People like this oncology surgeon who trained at Edinburgh's Royal College but is now learning different skills.
We are not qualified to be war surgeons, but no choice.
As the injured continued to arrive here, it became obvious to us that most of them were not fighters, but civilians, injured by indiscriminate gun and mortar fire directed by Gaddafi forces. These men were mourning the loss of two brothers cut to pieces by a mortar shell. This 12-year-old boy had been shot in the leg, but in Misrata terms, he was lucky. So was this girl. She'd come in to have the dressings changed on the bullet wound to the back that nearly killed her. Soon afterwards, in a place we thought safe, a mortar round reminded us that there's nowhere safe in this city under siege. It had exploded in a garden where children were playing. The little boy looked confused. His father was quick to wrap him in a blanket, hiding the horrendous wounds to his back and spine. They were injuries that he would not survive. A second boy had also been cut down. His father did what any father would do and began the dash to hospital, where the child was saved. Incidentally, during the filming of this report, we didn't see or hear a single NATO warplane. John Irvine, ITV News, Misrata, Libya.